August 19th, 1953. Tehran is on fire. Armed mobs are flooding the streets. Government buildings are being stormed. The Prime Minister's residence is surrounded. And by nightfall, the most popular leader Iran had ever elected is under arrest, charged with treason against his own country. His crime? He tried to give Iran's oil back to the Iranian people, and America decided that could not be allowed to happen. What follows is the story of Operation Ajax, the CIA coup that destroyed Iranian democracy in a single day, created the conditions for the Islamic Revolution 26 years later, and built the foundation of every Iran-America confrontation you are watching right now. Subscribe to History Under Radar, because this is exactly the kind of story they never want you to find. Mohammad Mosaddegh was 69 years old when he became Prime Minister of Iran in 1951. He had spent his entire career fighting for Iranian democracy against foreign interference. He wept openly in Parliament. He conducted meetings from his bed in pajamas. He looked like everyone's grandfather, and he terrified Washington and London more than any military enemy they had ever faced. Because Mosaddegh had one idea that threatened to change everything. Iranian oil belonged to Iran. Since 1913, the Anglo-Iranian Oil Company had been extracting Iranian oil and selling it to the world. It was a British company, owned by the British government, employing Iranian workers, paying them poverty wages, while generating enormous profits that flowed almost entirely to London. Iran received approximately 16% of the profits from its own oil. Britain received the rest. When Mosaddegh was elected Prime Minister on a single promise, to nationalize Iranian oil and return its profits to the Iranian people. The Iranian Parliament voted unanimously to support him. The Iranian people celebrated in the streets, and Britain immediately began planning how to destroy him. Britain's response was swift and calculated. They imposed an economic blockade on Iran. British warships appeared in the Persian Gulf. Britain froze Iranian assets in British banks, and most devastatingly, Britain organized a global boycott of Iranian oil. No Western country would buy Iranian oil. No Western company would insure Iranian oil tankers. The oil that was supposed to fund Iranian hospitals, schools, and infrastructure sat in tankers going nowhere. Iranian government revenue collapsed almost overnight. Mosaddegh faced a devastating choice: surrender the oil, nationalization, or watch his country's economy disintegrate. He chose to hold. And that is when Britain went to Washington. The British told the CIA that Mosaddegh was a communist sympathizer, that Iran was about to fall into Soviet hands, that the Persian Gulf oil fields would be controlled by Moscow. It was largely fabricated. Mosaddegh was not a communist, he was a Democrat. His political party was secular liberal and pro-Western in many respects. But the Cold War framing worked perfectly. President Eisenhower authorized Operation Ajax in June 1953. The CIA budget for the operation was approximately $1 million. $1 million to destroy a democracy. The operation was run by CIA officer Kermit Roosevelt Jr., grandson of President Theodore Roosevelt. He flew into Tehran under a false identity and began buying Iran's political landscape piece by piece. Iranian newspaper editors were paid to publish anti-Mosaddegh propaganda. Religious leaders were paid to denounce him from their pulpits. Military officers were bribed to switch their loyalty. Iranian members of parliament were paid to withdraw their support. Street gang leaders were paid to organize violent protests against Mossadegh's government. The CIA hired Iranian men to dress as Mossadegh supporters and commit acts of violence in his name, bombing mosques, attacking religious figures, creating the appearance that Mossadegh's government was at war with Islam. It was all theater, paid for by American taxpayers, designed to make an elected democratic government look like a dangerous threat to Iranian society. August 15, 1953. The first coup attempt fails. Iranian military officers loyal to Mossaddegh arrest the coup plotters. The Shah of Iran knew about the plan and had signed the royal decrees to remove Mosaddegh, flees the country in panic, flying first to Baghdad, then to Rome. The CIA declares the operation a failure. Kermit Roosevelt ignores the instruction to stand down. He spends 4 days doubling down. More money flows to street organizers. More military officers are bribed. The BBC broadcasts a specific coded signal on its Persian language service. The signal that tells pro-coup forces inside Iran that the operation is still active. August 19, 1953. Paid mobs flood Tehran simultaneously from multiple directions. Mossadegh's government supporters are attacked in the streets. Military units that have been bribed switch sides in real time during the fighting. Pro-coup forces seize the radio station, the telephone exchange, the military headquarters. Street battles erupt across Tehran. Hundreds of people are killed in a single day of orchestrated violence. By nightfall, the coup is complete. Mosaddegh is arrested in his home. The Shah returns from Rome, and Iran's democracy is over. The financial consequences of Operation Ajax shaped the next 70 years. The oil agreement that replaced nationalization gave American oil companies 40% of Iranian oil production. British companies received 40%. Other Western companies shared the remaining 20%. Iranian share of its own oil profits went from 16% to zero ownership. The Iranian people received nothing. The Shah ruled as an American and British-backed dictator for 26 years. His secret police Savak, trained by the CIA, tortured and killed thousands of Iranians who demanded democracy. The same democracy America had just destroyed. When the Iranian people finally rose up in 1979 and overthrew the Shah, their rage was not simply against the Shah. It was against America. The country that had taken their democracy in 1953 supported their torturer for 26 years and called it freedom, the Islamic Revolution, the hostage crisis, the Iran-Iraq War, where America armed Saddam Hussein to fight Iran, the sanctions, the nuclear confrontation. Everything you are watching right now traces back to $1 million and a CIA officer named Kermit Roosevelt in a Tehran safe house in the summer of 1953. Remember that. History under radar. Subscribe. Share this video with someone who needs to understand why the world looks the way it does.